Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, around the world, here in the United States and in the Ed Sullivan Theater, to The Late Show. I am your host, Stephen Colbert, and I hope that everyone here in the United States is staying toasty warm because it is bitter cold all over the country, including the Deep South. Take New Orleans, or as locals call it, Nolio. Close, right? Close? That's basically it? No? Okay, yes. Yesterday, the Big Easy turned Big Freezy and shattered its modern all-time daily snowfall record, receiving 8 inches of snow. Laissez la bon temps frosé. That snow is gonna really change the vibe of throwing beads at Mardi Gras. Show me your layers! Take off your mittens! There was so much snow that on Bourbon Street, they had a snowball fight. New Orleans hasn't seen that much powder since anyone took a bite from a beignet. Speaking of bone-chilling, Donald Trump. It's his 3rd day in office, and he's already done a lot of... Wow. Get it out. He's already done a lot of bad things, like pardoning 1,500 of the January 6th rioters, including hundreds who committed serious felonies, such as assaulting police with deadly or dangerous weapons. Well, turns out releasing gangs of violent thugs onto our city streets is not that popular because, according to a new AP NORC MILF Manor poll, only 2 in 10 Americans support pardoning the rioters. 2 out of 10. If you want an idea of how unpopular that is, that's only 1 point better than the Rotten Tomatoes score for Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. Folks, I'll tell you, now I've said this before, you've heard me say this, folks, there is far too much trans in Transformers. I believe deeply, I've always said this, that there can only be possibly 2 genders, truck or gun. Folks, because this is so unpopular, Republican members of Congress are strenuously opposed to talking about it. Yesterday, a reporter asked Speaker Mike Johnson to address the issue of the pardons. Here's what he said.
It's not my place. It's the president's sole decision, and he made a decision, so I stand with him on it.
Not your place. They attacked the House of Representatives. That is literally your place. It's not for me to say. No, it's not. It's not my place to speak. To do so, I would have to be some sort of speaker. I have to go. Another mind-boggling act of cowardice came from Alabama Senator and fart sommelier Tommy Tuberville. He was asked if it was acceptable to pardon rioters who assaulted the police, and the senator said, "No, that's not acceptable, but I didn't see it," adding, "I don't believe it because I didn't see it. Now, if I see it, I would believe it, but I didn't see in that video." Well, I guess if he hasn't seen anything, it didn't exist. In which case, Senator... As recently as last week, the Trump team, including J.D. Vance, was out there saying out loud to reporters that each and every January 6th case would be reviewed and that violent offenders wouldn't get any pardons. So what happened? Well, according to insiders, the case-by-case review was onerous and time was running out, heading into the inauguration day. So Trump just said, "F it, release them all." What? Just because it was taking a minute? So from now on, the TSA can just go, "You know what? Line's too long. Everyone on the plane. Everyone on the plane. Sir, I'm sorry. Sir, please. Sir, excuse me. Sir, you dropped your samurai sword. There you go. Have a great flight." Trump clearly doesn't know or doesn't care how bad all of this is. Here he is being asked about it yesterday.
You would agree that it's never acceptable to assault a police officer,
Sure.
right? So then if I can, among those you pardoned DJ Rodriguez, he drove a stun gun into the neck of a DC police officer who was abducted by the mob that day. He later confessed on video to the FBI and pleaded guilty for his crimes. Why does he deserve a pardon?
Well, I don't know. Was it a pardon? Because we're looking at commutes and we're looking at pardons. Okay, well, we'll take a look at everything.
Take a look at everything? You already released him. What are you looking at? His high, fine butt while he walks away? The time to look is before you do the stupid thing. Mrs. Henley, I'm afraid your husband did not make it because of all the things I cut out of his body before I read his chart here. But I promise you, we're gonna take another look at it because I think I left my phone in his lung. Trump doesn't seem to be shying away from these violent criminals. We just learned that the administration is having discussions about inviting some January 6 convicts to the White House for a visit. Tell you what, if you really want to get them in there, tell them they're not invited. They'll find a way. Right? It's a day of love. It'll be a day of peace. Somehow, it's still Inauguration Week in D.C., so yesterday, Trump, Vance, and their families attended services at the National Cathedral. And the moment everybody's talking about is when the cathedral's bishop, Reverend Marianne Budde, ended her sermon with this direct plea to the president.
In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land.
That was beautifully said. It took courage. Not only was it beautiful, it took courage to stand up there and say something simple, something so kind, something so true to the example of Christ. And even better, it made Trump super uncomfortable because here's the thing, sermons aren't a debate. Trump just had to sit there and listen to it. I wonder what was going on in his head.
Yoo-hoo!
Well, we all worship in our own way. Nominal Vice President J.D. Vance also seemed pretty annoyed to have to just sit there and take Jesus' words. Of course, he looked uncomfortable the whole time. Oh, I can't have sex with this pew. There's no cushions. Remember that? Do you remember? We all remember. Remember, he had sex with couches, which we learned wasn't true. And I mean, every single couch he ever saw, he would stick his penis in it, is something that never happened. Reverend Budde's message of compassion angered the usual bunch of dum-dums, including Trump lackey Representative Mike Collins of Georgia, who posted, "A person given this sermon should be added to the deportation list." Yes, hell yeah, no, let's send her back to the hellhole she came from, New Jersey. Afterwards, Donald Trump gave church 2 thumbs down.
What did you think? Did you like it? Did you find it exciting? Not too exciting, was it?
Yeah, dog, it's church. The most exciting thing happens is sometimes they ring a little bell. Not all the time, just sometimes. No one knows why. Another reason to pray hard is Trump's cabinet nominees, like his pick for Secretary of Defense, Fox and Friends weekend co-host, and guy saying, "Oh, my hat," even though you definitely did not ask about his hat. Pete Hegseth. Hegseth has been repeatedly and credibly accused of alcohol abuse and sexual assault, but there's a new update that'll make Republicans feel even grosser when they all vote to confirm him. It's a new sworn affidavit from Hegseth's former sister-in-law. Oh, you never want to cross a sister-in-law. You know their slogan, "Sisters-in-law, please Venmo me for the damage Parker caused the couch, thanks." The affidavit includes numerous disturbing allegations of Hegseth's verbal and emotional abuse of his second wife, as well as instances of him being the drinkiest drunk that ever done drank. On one occasion in 2009, Hegseth allegedly got so drunk that that he needed to be dragged out of a strip club while in his military uniform. Okay, that seems inappropriate, but maybe he was just being patriotic. You know, throwing little portraits of George Washington onto the stage. Hegseth also allegedly drank so much at a restaurant that his Uber driver had to pull over so he could throw up, passed out from drunkenness at the bathroom in a bar in Minneapolis, and one Christmas he drank so much that he threw up and passed out. Evidently, there is nowhere Pete Hegseth hasn't passed out. You can read all about it in the new children's classic, Oh, the Places You'll Go Unconscious. We got a great show for you tonight. My guest is John Dickerson. And when we come back, I answer your kids' questions. Stick around.